kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
Oh man, I think this is gonna be a freaking banger, bro. Testicles 1, 2. Testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Wait, I forgot to put my background. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, now I'm in action. I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Paranoid Radio Podcast, the best show with the best content for the best listeners, and do not forget to tell your mama about it. Yeah. Now, guys, an amazing episode lined up with an amazing special guest. I want to remind you that the most important thing that you can do for the show is word of mouth. Check us out at paranoidradio.com. Do not forget to check out the affiliations and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Allow me to jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. This guy has been on Instagram dropping bombs of knowledge, making deposits into the bank of knowledge every single day. And what he's doing is in his own spectrum. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Demon Erasers. Bryan, what's going on, bro? How you doing today?
Dude, thank you so much. Such a awesome intro for me, bro. I feel so welcome, bro, and like special. Like that's
Bro,
awesome.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me, bro. I've tried so hard.
That's
I love
great.
it,
That's
dude.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
no.
dude. Where can people find you? What the heck is going on?
Yeah. The let's see. You can find me at Demon Erasers on YouTube. So I've got a podcast called Ancient Angels. I also have a movie, or a documentary, Ancient Angels. If you go to ancientangels.com, you can see the movie, which is about Nephilim and fallen angels and the history behind it. It's a documentary with me and my buddy JT. I've also got Demon Racers on TikTok is kind of where I've blown up the most, and I've got like 200,000 followers on there plus or whatever. And then and X, I kind of try to post on X. I'm not really. Like it's interesting all the different communities, and Instagram. I've been posting a lot on Instagram. So yeah, fun
You
stuff.
have to play the community game, and sometimes,
Mhm.
bro, us men. I have this story, right? Excuse me. I have this story. A quick little story, and I go, I know, I hate doing these tangents, but the story of the horse and the duck. So it's a farm. There's only one horse, and then a flock of ducks just comes to the pond. Quack 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 quack. They're at the pond, and then the horse is eating, right? Blah blah blah. And all the quacks, all the freaking ducks start laughing at the horse. Why? Because they're saying, "Ha, stupid horse! All you could do is run." Yeah. Well, see, look at me. I could walk, I could fly, I could swim. And then the horse turns around and he goes, and he looks at the duck and goes, "Like stupid duck." See, you could fly, you could swim, and you could walk the earth for very small periods of time. I can run long periods very fast. I'm a specialist at what I do. So unfortunately, a lot of us here need to be specialists at these communities. Same thing with me. I have a couple few thousand followers on Instagram, but I can't get X working. I can't get freaking TikTok working. I'm on 4 freaking banned accounts on TikTok. Like, why, bro? Anyway,
Oh,
point
I can
is,
tell you why on that one, but yeah.
why? Let me know why.
I mean, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it. Like, what is this going on? What platforms are we going this going out to?
This is on everything, on YouTube, everything. I just started the YouTube. If it gets banned, freak it.
Okay, we can't talk about it on YouTube then, because like there's
Come
because I
the
was
juicy stuff, man.
bro, that I mean, like the stuff is like the people with the little funny hats is the reason why they banned this stuff on TikTok. And I know because my account was heavily exploding, and then a certain group of individuals came in and they wanted to ban TikTok. And what they did is they forced TikTok to surrender their content management system to Oracle, who is owned by Larry Ellison, who's best friends with the guy who happens to be the president of that country, with the people with the little funny hats, if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, they started banning. They went through and banned all my content, started blocking some of my stuff. And I don't even really talk against that topic very much often at all, but they went through, they shut down one of my other buddies. If you said anything against the CIA, against TikTok, against the CIA, or the little people with the J's with the funny little hats, if you say anything against that, they shut a lot of people down. and stopped and that's the reason why they wanted to ban TikTok. Like that's the real reason why TikTok's being wanted to be. And supposedly they're going to try to ban it. If nobody buys it, it's going to get banned on March something. I don't know what day. I think it was like or April 4th or something. I think they said they're
Huh.
going to ban it again supposedly, or if it has to get sold by that date or something. But either way, it's all manipulation of media because the media doesn't want you to know certain information. And so my account's pretty heavily shadow banned yet, and my stuff gets seeped through the cracks because other people will post my videos and they'll go mega viral on other people's accounts. So it's like you can't really stop truth when it starts coming out. People are going to find out what it is
Oh
regardless.
man, that reminds me of that freaking Jurassic Park part of the movie, the original one. He goes, "Life will find a way."
Yep, truth
It's
will find a
insane.
way.
Yeah, man, truth will find a way. Where can people
Hmm.
find you, bro? What is your handle?
Oh yeah, just is Demon Racers on everything. So Demon Racers YouTube, Demon Racers X, Demon Racers Instagram and YouTube is probably the where I'm posting the most content right now. And then TikTok kind of died down because I can't post certain things without, dude, if I say gay on TikTok, banned. Like shadow banned. Like if you say one word that is within their agenda box, shadow banned. Like immediately. It's terrible now. TikTok is like the most shadow banned platform now because of all this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Um,
Mhm.
I recently got shadow banned on Instagram too, and I hate it. I hate it. And then everybody was telling me like, "Yo, dude," especially the patriots and people that are really politically lenient or
Mhm.
leaning to a political side. They're like, "Yo, bro, like what you need to do is
Mhm.
start all these fake accounts and then start collaborating with the fake accounts because the fake accounts could get your
Mm.
content out to non-followers." I was like, so that's been happening. So it's just a way to manipulate still.
Collaborate
Uh,
with a fake account. That's a good idea. It's interesting.
Yo, check this out. Something that I seen on your Instagram account that really got my attention was, and then we could just speak briefly about this, is the emoji, demon emojis. Whoa,
Mhm.
what's going on?
Yeah, so the emoji, there's a lot of stuff with emojis that people aren't really aware of. There's a lot of things in our world and our culture that is witchcraft. And so
Mm.
what I do, just for everybody that's watching to know what I do, I'm an exorcist. Like I literally pray and cast out demons and heal people. And I've seen things that I can't even like I wouldn't even bother saying because honestly, you just would think it was crazy. So like
Mm.
I mean like if I tried to explain it to myself like 4 years ago before I started doing this, I wouldn't have believed me. I would be like, this dude has got like he's on like another planet. So like the thing is like it's real. And when you step into this reality, when you step into this space of seeking the Lord and serving the Lord, it's like you walked into the Matrix and like the gates of Narnia have just opened up. And so it's like
Oh,
I did not think that there was like demonic stuff. Like I studied demonology my whole life. Okay. I studied demons, I studied history, and I studied it and I studied the Bible like a fairy tale book. I thought it was like a cool book of fairy tales. And I believed that God existed, but I was like, where is he in my life? And that
mm.
was just my perspective. So I studied it, but I didn't know how real witchcraft and how real demons were until I experienced it firsthand. But I studied a bunch of books and I studied occultic stuff and I had occultic books and witchcraft books that I was just reading to know. I wasn't
Mm.
doing it, but I was reading to know. But my girlfriend, I was living a pretty worldly lifestyle. I've still never drinking a drop of alcohol, surprisingly, and I've never done a drug. I've never smoked a cigarette.
Kudos to that. Mm.
Yeah, but I did. I was polyamorous and I had like multiple girlfriends. So I went into other ways that were like totally perverted and wrong. But the my girlfriend at the time, she ended up like reading some of the occultic stuff that I had and she started studying into it and started going down the rabbit hole and figuring out
Holy
conspiracies and blah blah
snap.
blah. Right,
Mhm.
bro? She got demon possessed reading some stuff somehow. I don't know where along the line it happened. I don't know. It had to do with me doing, rituals of sex magic, technically, because that's what we were participating in some degree, or what. But she got something demonic in her, and it started controlling her body. She could like not control her body movements. She started like speaking in different sounds out of her mouth and
Uh-oh.
like speaking like different, like, dude, it was crazy. It was not normal. And this kind of
Yeah.
stuff started happening, and it kind of woke me up to like the reality of what demons actually are. And it went from like just being a fairy tale to the Lord was like, no, Bryan, it's not a fairy tale. Boom. And like God woke me up in like a very real way. And crazy story. I have a testimony on my website. If you go to YouTube, you can read my testimony or whatever. But like basically my girlfriend ended up, I ended up hearing from the Lord directly, and he like just like I heard like a voice speak to my head, which I know sounds crazy, but it was like confirmed by all kinds of crazy stuff. He started speaking to me in Bible verses, and I was like, what the heck? And then I ended up getting rid of a bunch of my stuff. I burned like my video game stuff, my collection of video game stuff. I was super into video games. And
Whoa.
yeah, probably close to like $10,000 worth of collection of video game stuff. And I just like got rid of it all, dude. And the Lord just kind of woke me up and showed me that those were idols. And like I never thought of that stuff as idols. Like I never thought like because that's like the second commandment is love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself is what Jesus says. But the second commandment is have no other gods before me. And it was like, for I am the Lord your God. But people don't understand like what before me means. Like I thought it meant like, oh, I can have God, and then video games can be my second God. Like it was no, it's like have nothing else before me. And so that was like a wake up call for me. So I got rid of my video game stuff, destroyed it, and then all of a sudden, bro, like the next day, this random dude showed up at my shop, random old guy, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, man? Like, you need here for design work or for marketing stuff or stickers because I own and run a design studio." He's like, "No, no," and I'm like, "Okay," and so he's just kind of hanging out. I'm like, "Bro, listen," I'm like, you have a business?" "No, no, no," and I'm like, finally, I'm like, "Bro, listen, weird guy." I'm about to kick you out of my building because I don't know you. You're freaking weird. Showing up in my building. You don't need design. You don't need stickers. You don't need marketing. Like you don't have a business. Why are you here? I'm like, what do you
Mm.
do? And the guy looks at me and he's like, I do miracles. And he goes, and I teach people how to cast out demons and how to heal people. And he goes, and I'm pretty sure God told me to come here today. And dude ends up praying for my girlfriend. I have never seen anything like this in my life, bro. Like I'm like 30 something years old. Bro, he prays for her and instantly she is healed. Okay? Mind you, like I've gone to church a lot. And I've been to all these churches where they're like, oh, we pray for healing, brother. Pray for healing. Oh, heal them, brother. And it never happens. And people in church get sick or they get healed for a week and they're back in church. No, bro. What this dude did, prayed for her like instantly. Like stuff left her, bro. She had motion sickness. She had motion sickness so bad when we would drive, she couldn't even look at her phone. That left her. They didn't even pray about that. They didn't even pray about that stuff. Like she got healed of like what she thought she was bipolar, depressed, motion sickness, like all these like disorders, all these mental health issues that you would
Uh-huh.
call gone,
Mm.
instantly gone. She never slept a night through the night, bro. She slept for the first time all the way through the night. I've never seen her do that. And like, bro, like I was so shook by like that experience that I was like, okay, God is real. Like I have like this is so real. I don't even know how to like take it. So I was like, we can't sleep together. We can't be together. Like I cut my relationship with my other girlfriend and then like was like, no,
Holy
we're not.
snap.
Like, bro, I've got to be sanctified. Like I need to start serving the Lord. I like you can't like no porn, no lust, no perversion. Like I had to cut this stuff out of my life and was like, okay, God, I am going to like try to be as righteous as I possibly can. Lord, this is real. I don't even know what's happening. Dude, started seeking the Lord and oh my gosh, like I asked the dude to train me, the guy that prayed, and he was like, no. He was like, I'm not gonna train you. Your heart's wrong. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like he's like, no, 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 your heart's in the wrong place. Like I'm not even gonna train you. And so
Huh.
like eventually I had an experience where we just started telling everybody about like the demon leaving my girlfriend. And some guy that my friend's friend was like, bro, he's like, can you pray for me? I can't sleep at night. I've got that issue. I've got this and that. And like, he's like, can you? And I'm like, well, I guess we could try. And like, so we pray for him. Dude ends up like the craziest experience was praying for that guy for the first time. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I guess I'll just pray. He's not, that guy isn't going to train me, the dude that prayed for her. So I'm just going to do what I can know. And I'm like, in the name of Jesus, I just like go in the name of Jesus. I bind you anything demonic in this man right now in the name of Jesus. And I'm like, and I rebuke whatever demonic thing is right here and I bind it. And I'm like, how you feeling, bro? And like we're just like sitting there praying for a second. And I'm like, how you doing? He's like, nothing. No move. He's like sitting in the chair and he's like not moving his mouth. And I'm like, you okay? And then I'm like, bro, are you okay? And he's like, I can't move my mouth. And he's like, he couldn't move his mouth. He couldn't even open his mouth. He's like, and I realized I said, I bind you in the name of Jesus.
Get out.
Bro,
Shut the front door.
he couldn't even move. And I'm like, release in the name of Jesus. And he's like, what the freak was that? He was just like,
oh God.
He's like, what has just happened to me? He's like, what did you do to me? And I'm like freaked out, right? Because I'm like, I don't know what I just did. I just said I bind you in the name of Jesus. I've been trying to live righteous, right? I've been trying to be holy and trying to be righteous. And this is the thing they don't do in church. Okay, people don't try to be holy. They don't try to be righteous. And so then they go to pray. Their prayers are weak, they're pathetic, and they're worthless. And they don't work. And the Bible even says God does not hear the prayers of sinners, bro. So like when you're not trying to seek the Lord and trying to be righteous, bro, God ain't listening to you. And that's why the pastors don't want to pray out demons. That's why churches don't want to do this kind of stuff, because they're not seeking righteousness. They're seeking hiding it. But like I was in a place where I'm like just trying to seek the Lord. And so when I said I bind you to that man, he literally could not move. He's like gasping for air and he's like, what the heck? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like we could just keep praying. And he's like, yeah, I feel like there's something in me. It's like moving. He's like, I've never felt this before. Like, what is going on? And so I'm like, all right, in the name of Jesus, whatever that is, come out now. And all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. And like, dude, I ran and got the trash can and put in front of him. Dude starts throwing up, bro. Like, and I'm just like, what is even happening, bro? Like, I didn't even know what was happening. So like, I'm like praying, like stuff. He just starts like throwing up, bro. He takes off his ring. He was a Freemason actually. And I didn't know this till like we started talking in the first place. Takes off his ring. He's like, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be a part of this, whatever this is. And like, he set the ring down. And I talk about this on my channel, but in more detail. But we go to, I'm like, do you want me to get rid of the ring? He's like, yes, please get rid of the ring. Keep the ring. I'm like, so I'm like, do you want to smash it? He's like, no, I don't want to touch it. He's like, you smash it. And I'm like, all right. So I go over and I take this like expensive ring. And I'm like, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke any demonic spirits attached to this ring. And I cast them into the abyss. Bam! I hit that ring and he just projectile vomits like a fire hose out of his mouth, like this white foam, and it fills up my trash can like this much, dude. Like it was like,
get the freak out,
like dude. This, like, bro, craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, dude, it was insane. And so this was my first introduction to casting out demons, and like I didn't know what I was doing whatsoever. All I was trying to do was be righteous, and then like help this guy because I just was gonna pray for him, right? And so eventually, like, I don't know how to deal with this guy. And, you know, we cast it and he's like, bro, I feel so much better. He goes home, he feels better, comes back a week later. And he's like, dude, I'm like, how you doing? He's like, dude, I'm doing great. He's like, Jesus is so good. And I'm like, whoa, that's a weird response you said to me. Like, this is a week later. He comes back. And this is my friend's friend. I don't know this guy. Okay. I don't know this guy at all. All right. He doesn't know me. He just knows that I met him once, prayed for him, cast out demons, bro. So this is the second time I'm meeting him a week later. And I'm just like kind of curious, like, how's he doing? I just prayed a demon out of him. I think he threw up and like, I don't even freaking know. So I'm like praying for the dude. And the second time, and like, but the second time he comes over, I'm just like, first I'm like, how you doing? I'm just kind of curious. And he's just like kind of acting weird. And all of a sudden he's like not looking at me. His head starts doing this and he can't look me in the eye. And he's like, yeah, I'm doing great. He's like, you know, and I'm like, have you been drinking, bro? I was like, he's like, oh, I mean, I drank a little bit. And I was like, do you remember how when we prayed the demon out of you the first time, I was like, don't drink, don't watch porn, don't give into like things like this. I'm like, have you been doing some of those things? And he's like, well, yeah, a little bit. And I'm like, cause your body's kind of doing some weird stuff. I don't even know what to think about that. And like, he's just like, his head keeps doing this thing, won't look me in the face. So I sit on the other side of him and his head starts going the other way. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is a demon. It doesn't want to look me in the eye. And I'm realizing,
serious, dude,
bro.
Oh god,
this is where that moment of The Exorcist where their head turns around, bro. This is what I've experienced, something like that. It doesn't turn around all the way, but his head was going unnaturally, like whipping. And they won't look you in the eye when you're righteous. When you're walking in righteousness, they're afraid to. And so like the demon will start to like manifest and like have weird reactions. So his body starts like doing. I'm like, hey, do you remember I told you like you probably shouldn't do that because it says in the Bible when a demon leaves a man, if he comes back void and empty, seven more might go into him. Like, I was telling you that. And he was like, so you think like a demon like came back into me? And I was like, well, I don't really know because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I mean, your body, like you're kind of talking funny and you're kind of looking weird. And all of a sudden, bro, his head snaps and he looks dead straight, pans me in the eye. His voice changes and the demon speaks through him. This is the first time I've experienced a demon speaking to
Are
somebody.
you're
Bro,
saying this like it's a joke? I
no,
swear, bro.
this is not a joke. His head's he looks me dead in the eye and he goes, "Oh, I have come back." And he's like, "And I am so much stronger than you." And I'm like, "Oh!" It just went from like a thousand miles per hour because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing still, right? And so
Yeah.
this dude like looks me and I'm like, "Oh shoot!" And he goes, "You?" He's like, "You think you're gonna cast me out?" He's like, "Go on." He's like, "Try. I'd love to see you try." He's like, "You can't do it because
It
you're
was
full of
challenging.
lust." He's like
Uh,
starts calling out my lust. And I
mm-hmm.
don't like, and bro, I was like, okay. And he's like, I'm like, when have I done something wrong? Name it. I was like, name what I've done. When have I looked at porn? When have I given a lust? Name it right now. And he's like, oh, you haven't in a while. He goes, but it's still in your heart. You want it, and I can see it. And the guy starts,
Oh.
and dude, bro, the demon goes, and he goes, and you're full of, and he does this crazy weird thing. He goes, pa pa pa, polyamory, and he like smiles and mind you, he didn't know that I was polyamorous before my lifestyle. Like he didn't know that that's what I left. So this guy just doesn't know me, looks at me and says this, bro, and it was like chills went down my spine. And he like smiled and he's like, and he knew that like somewhere in the back of my head, I was still like, well, David had multiple wives. Like maybe I could just have two girlfriends. Like
He
maybe
was
that's
using it
okay,
against you. He
bro.
was.
That was the perverted thought in my mind when I first was
Mm.
like understanding it, right? And so the demon knew that was in my heart and he spoke it. Like if, and bro, it scared the crap out of me so bad. I called one of my friends. I was like, "Hey, bro, hey, you remember how we were like cast out demons? You remember it was like really crazy? And I told you about that dude. That dude came back and the thing's talking through him now and it knows stuff about me. And I'm really kind of freaked out, bro. You want to like help pray?" He's like, "Yeah, put me on the phone." Put him on the phone. And then my friend starts laughing. The dude starts laughing at my friend. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna cast me out?" He's like, "Oh yeah, please try. I'd love to hear you try." And then my friend's like, "In the name of Jesus, come out." And the demon starts laughing. And he's like, "Oh," he's like, "It's gonna not work. You want to know why?" He goes, "You masturbated 2 hours ago." And I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna call you back." Hang my friend up. And I'm just like, okay, this is getting real. Like the demon straight knew stuff about me, about everybody. And it started like calling things out, bro. And it was like, it was the most intense experience I've ever had. And so then from that point, I couldn't get the demon out of the guy. Like I ended up having to call somebody else and like find somebody to like help pray. And then crazy story. I share some of this on my test on my website or on YouTube. But the I end up basically like not being able to do it. Eventually I do it the next week or so. We end up getting the demon off the guy, but he ends up getting like schizophrenia, like to the like he didn't have it before. He ends up getting diagnosed as schizophrenic. And so like it was like pretty dramatic for this dude. Like
Oh God.
he like went crazy and like literally pulled a sword out on a guy and tried to stab a dude. Like, bro, it was like some crazy stuff and that was like my first experience. But the dude that didn't want to train me was like, "I'll train you now." He's like, "You don't even know what you're doing." So he ends up begrudgingly, like, the Lord's like tells him to train me. And so he ends up training me a little bit and teaching me and I end up because I'm like, "Bro, I'm casting demons out whether you want to train me or not. And I just don't know what I'm doing." And this guy is not like it ain't turning out good for him. So like I don't know what you need to tell me. So like he ends up training me though, and yeah, and then it's kind of goes from there. But from that point forward, it's like, dude, I feel like I've walked out of the matrix. Like it's literally just like I've now been exposed to a reality that has been in front of us this entire time. And like
Hmm.
God just basically took all this occultic knowledge. He's like, "Yeah, you remember you when you studied witchcraft about this and that?" He goes, "This is what it really is." And boom, it's like God's just been taking all these puzzle pieces that I've been building up my whole life. And now he's like, boom, here's how it actually works. And God's just like using my past and my history and knowledge of the occult and plugging it in together with my understanding of today. And so now that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching people what witchcraft is, what the occult is, what demons actually are, because people don't have no clue what demons are. They have no freaking clue. And they think they're make believe or it's a fictitious thing or an entity like that. Like they have no clue. So I'm trying to teach that and expose that. And that's
Hmm.
basically my testimony in a short nutshell.
First of
Yeah.
all, there's a couple things I need to pull out. That was a headbanger. That was a banger of an intro for the freaking episode, dude. Um, if you
Mhm.
put that same story
Mhm.
as a comic book trend, like a little comic book, it would sell, bro. The charismatic way that you were bringing it out, it was like I would, like I
Mhm.
really wanted it. Uh-oh, now my watch is going off. I really wanted it, and I was scared to have it, but I wanted it more. Like the way you said it, almost funny. It was freaking amazing. First of all, what a testimony, bro. That was huge, immense. Um, and then second, you said something that really grabbed my attention right before you were casting his demon out. I'll come back to it. The way that he was telling you your
Mhm.
secrets, and
Oh
I,
yeah.
w-
Mhm.
I was just on. I was talking to Juan Ayala from the Juan on Juana podcast, and we were talking about how blackmail is the ultimate conspiracy theory. The way they
Mhm.
blackmail because he is the accuser.
Oh
He
yeah.
accuses you of what you're doing, and then he uses these things have roamed the earth and still roam the earth way before us, way before our parents, and they know how you're structured, how your habits will affect you in the future, and even affect your kids, and they'll jump on that and they'll use that to manipulate your life so that you could design a horrible path for your kids, and it's a generational trauma. So,
Mhm.
and trauma, and I'm using trauma in quotation marks, right? Because I think it's demonic in a way, bro.
Mhm.
What a testimony, bro. You're on fire, dude. Do you have a podcast? Or what is that you do? Do you have like? It's just
My podcast is mostly about the Nephilim, actually, about ancient history, the stuff that I've studied my whole life. But like, I have little bits that I'll do where I explain this kind of stuff for the occult and stuff, just on my Demon Racers channels and stuff. I might
wow.
start a separate podcast teaching things about. I've been the Lord's been kind of nudging me to like teach spiritual principles about how to cast out demons and how this stuff works because, I mean, I kind of do that already, but it's like there's a lot to this and understanding it because it's a I mean, like you were saying, like trauma is a huge part. People don't understand like demons get access to people's minds through trauma, and so
Mhm.
like trauma, it's like it doesn't matter what you're doing. So like you see people like cutting themselves, like kids that cut themselves, bro. They have no freaking clue what they're doing, but they're creating trauma bonds. They're creating trauma in their body to try to evoke spirits because they go into your blood. Like demons smell blood, demons smell rot, and they smell decay. Like they can smell these things. So like demons are attracted to blood. And so like if you're bleeding, demons will come. And so like bro, like tattoos, people don't even know, but like tattoos a lot of times are they're bloodletting rituals. And so like
Damn, I
they
didn't know that before I got tatted, man. If I would have known that, I wouldn't have done
Of
that.
course, but it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. But like what I'm saying is like a lot of times, like that's why I said the Bible will say like don't tattoo yourself for the sake of the dead. It doesn't say don't tattoo yourself, but it says don't do it for the sake of the dead. And there's a reason behind it because people don't understand. But like when you're tattooing yourself for the sake of the dead, you're cutting yourself and you're saying it like let's say you tattoo for mom that dies, right? And it's like you're saying any demon that's in mom, I cut myself, and every demon that was on her, I evoke you to go into me now and I have created trauma to bleed for you. And it allows
Double
demonic
sword.
standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it allows the demons to enter you. And so, like, that's why it says don't do it for the sake of the dead. But trauma, like, the thing is, it's really
You know what's
interesting.
funny?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
There you go.
My mom died about a year and a half ago, and both my brothers and my older sister got her name tatted except for me. And it wasn't because I didn't want to. It was because at the time I was financially unstable and I didn't
Mhm.
have 300, 400, $600 to spare. And I've been really disconnected with my family. So it was like after her death, right? And even before, but it was like they all got the same tat. And I'm like, okay, in remembrance of her, to remember her by. Funny that you say that when you cut yourself using her name, you'll remember her, all right. You'll remember her memories, and her demons, the good
Oh
and the
yeah.
bad. Oh, that's huge, brother. What a connection, man.
Bro, you know, it was probably the Lord prompting me to say that to be specifically because I heard like say this mom tattoo, just so you know. So like obviously there's something the Lord was wanting you to be aware of that that's not how you remember people. You know, you don't
Mhm.
remember them by marking yourself. By marking yourself, you've created an idol of them. And so like people will make an altar sometimes. They'll like their dead brother will die and then they'll make an altar to that brother. And they don't know that like the brother doesn't care about your altar. Your brother isn't like sitting there being like, "Oh, congratulations. Thanks for keeping your altar of my dead self there." Like Jesus says, "Let the dead bury the dead." He says, "Move forward." Like, but like that's like pretty harsh line when people realize it. But like the reality is we're not supposed to be venerating or honoring the dead in that regard, because like if you're doing that, you're opening yourself up to demonic stuff, because your mom's not here anymore. She's moved on, right? But the things that have stayed here are the demons that followed her around. There's probably a
Man.
few of those. They follow everybody. And so like those demons now have access to who anybody else that's tattooed mom, all one of your siblings. So like the demons that were on her will now like move to your siblings that have bled for them. They've created trauma in honor of the mom. It's really interesting. This guy that just talked to me, he was talking about like there was his neighbor died, and his neighbor was dead for like 3 days, and they didn't find the body, and he thinks his other neighbor saw the body but panicked so bad that she just like went into her house and never came out because she saw it and didn't know what to say. So like what happens is like the guy dies in a pool of blood, stabbed himself, pretty terrible. And so the blood, the demons smell it, okay? And they go to that dead body and they hang around the dead body. And the first person that sees it is the one that absorbs the trauma. The person that finds the body is the one that sees it and goes, and like that moment of fear, that moment of trauma, that moment of discovery is the moment the demons go boom, and they go into that person's mouth and they enter into that person. And that's why it's like you don't like demons don't hang out at graveyards like people think. Demons aren't hanging around the dead bodies. They're not at mortuaries because there's not shot. There's no trauma in a mortuary. You're expecting to see the body there. Okay, you're expecting the person that's picking up the bodies. Maybe the first time they were a little bit traumatized, got some
Holy
demons,
crap. Makes a
but
lot of sense.
yeah, but it's the person that finds the body that the demons will absorb. They'll go into, and that's why the person that sees it or finds it or explore it, they're the ones that have they get like an effect from it. It's like I just saw him. So that his neighbor found the body, and so his neighbor ain't coming out of her house, and he kind of suspects she knew there was some other stuff that kind of suspected that she might have known about it, but she didn't even call because whatever demons were in that dude killed that man. Which, by the way, suicide is not doesn't mean that people like like suicide doesn't mean you go to hell. Like, dude, if you're suicided, that means some demon killed you. The Bible says the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. It is not natural for you to kill yourself. The only way you can kill yourself is if you're demon possessed. So, like,
Man.
straight up, if you've been killed, if suicide has happened in your life, it's not it's literally a demon killed that person. A demon got control of their body and was able to kill them. And so like, but what has happened is that guy died through suicide, and then that woman saw it, and the demons moved. They jumped into that woman. They jumped onto that woman, and now she's upstairs or whatever in their other room, like absorbing this panic feeling and this trauma of witnessing that. And she didn't call. Maybe she was like, "Oh, no, what if they're going to think I did it somehow?" Like whatever, fear or thought has gone into her that she didn't call. But now she's being possessed by this stuff. And so this is how demons move. They move through trauma. And like people don't understand, like people get graped, as children. And like most girls, like there's like, dude, bro, like it's sad how it's like 50% of women have been molested or something terrible like that has happened to them by family members, brothers or
More than.
dads or uncles. Okay. And it's dramatically surprising how much that has happened. Okay. And then that has happened to them. And then guess what? This experience happens to them, and men too. This happened to boys too as well. Happens to so many men, but it's like a large majority of women. And so the trauma enters. They experience the trauma from this terrible situation, right? And this terrible situation is happening to them. What happens is their mind goes into a state of shock or panic or hypnosis. That's where the mind goes. It goes into a hypnotic state. It shuts down the person, so it experiences what's happening to them. They're like, I can't believe this. My dad is doing this to me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. Oh my gosh. And then like the mind shuts down, experiences it, and then the mind divides a section of your brain. It divides a little section and it stores that memory in that section and says, we are never going to go near that folder. We're never going near that section of the mind. And that mind, that cavity inside the mind is storing these blank trauma-based experiences. Okay. And so that trauma-based experience grows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger till you have so much trauma that a big portion of your brain is being cut off to store these bad experience memories and traumas. And so what happens is people that have lost a large majority of their brain to trauma might even come out and might even appear dumber. Like you might think this person's stupid. You might think that they're like, oh, they're a dumb, oh, she's just a dumb blonde. No, she's not a dumb
What?
blonde.
I was just thinking that.
Bro, that's literally what happens. And it's like they're not dumb. They've been traumatized, and a large portion of their brain has been reserved from their be able to be used. It's been reserved from them able to be even accessed. And so demons reside in that blank space. That's where demons hang out. You want to say something?
I'm freaking soaking it in.
I'll keep going. Let me keep going.
I'm thinking it, and you're like, dude, you're saying it. I was like, dude, I just thought about that. That is insane.
Bro, this is what's happened to so many of our people today. And so like hypnosis is so real, but people don't know what hypnosis is. Okay, hypnosis is, it doesn't matter whether you are smart, dumb, rich, poor, whatever, like anybody is capable of being hypnotized. Now, the deciding factor of whether you can be hypnotized or not comes down to one factor. Guess what it is? Trauma. And they're not going to tell you that. I know this from studying it a whole lot. But trauma is the definitive characteristic of whether you will be a good hypnosis subject or not. Do you zone out? Do you ever zone out and just not look and just look at the stars, or just like when you're driving, zone out, and all of a sudden you're at the location you're at and you don't even realize how you got there? Okay, these are hypnotic responses. And so like in your mind, you have void spaces, usually from trauma. And it doesn't have to be like, trauma is relative, guys. Like, bro, you could have just got pantsed at school and it created so much of a trauma response to you that part of your mind has now been sectioned for a space that's using up cognitive abilities. Like, bro, and the way that your mind stores memories is interesting. Like there could have been like an ability for you to remember the number 3 that was stored in that part of the brain. And so you get pantsed at school, and then suddenly you think you're bad at math. Has nothing to do with bad at math. You just happen to lose a portion of where the number 3 was stored, because that's the part the brain used to hide away that memory and tuck that experience away from that trauma. And so if you don't heal your traumas, you will literally be dumber. You will literally be, and that's why there's a lot of people in today's society that are like, we're like, why is society so stupid? We're like, dude, how are they so dumb? How are they so, like, bro, look at all the blue-haired people, bro. Like, why are they such idiots? Bro, they're idiots. But the reality is, it's not their fault. They are traumatized. They have been traumatized. That's why they're dumb. That's why they are evil seeming. And that's why they are hurt. And so you got to love them to be able to heal them. You can't just like reject these blue-haired people and all these people that are wackos. And yeah, they're wackos, but it's not their fault. You got to understand. You got to look at them with the eyes of love and be like, look, dude, you've been hurt. You've been traumatized. Wow. What is the hurt inside you? And so as an exorcist, what I have to do is like heal these traumas and get these demons out of their mind. And bro, when it leaves, bro, people throw up. They heal. Like, bro, I've touched a woman. She like freaking Peter Pants, bro. I've seen crazy stuff. I've seen crazy things happen. But when people get healed in such miraculous ways. But like, this doesn't happen in church, by the way. Like, church people are afraid of people like me that cast out demons. Church people are like, oh, don't bring that brother in because you never know. Like, bro, I've been in church
because they might lose control of the congregation and their organization. Yeah,
absolutely. And so, bro, I've been in a church where like I was literally sitting next to this girl who was like mentally retarded, and like she was like very clearly mentally disabled, like very clearly, like she was like and she would like this. And then like she could talk, but she would talk like this. And she was like looking at me, and like I'm sitting across the aisle and this girl's like staring at me. And I'm like, and I look over at her and she's like, turns away. I'm like, this is weird. And then like I see her staring at me again, like looking just like this and turning her head sideways and like staring like creepily like that. It was like, oh, and I can see her on the side of my eye, and I look at her again and she like turns her head. Does this like 4 times. And then all of a sudden I hear in the spirit, because you learn to hear in the spirit when you're casting out demons. I hear in the spirit, the demon goes, you think you're special to me. And I'm like sitting in this church, bro. And there's like worshiping songs. And I'm like, oh shoot, there's a freaking demon in this girl. And I'm like, oh man. And she's like, you think you're special. He's like, you think you can cast me out. He's like, you're weak like the rest of them. He starts talking to me in my head. I'm like hearing this in the spirit. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, and the demon's like, I'm a faith destroyer. He starts telling me all this stuff. I mean, he's like, he's like, all the other demons you've dealt with are pathetic compared to me. He's like, look what I've done to this girl. Look what I've done to her body.
Oh
And
my God.
I'm like, oh, he's like, look what I've done to her mind. He says, it's mine. It's my body, my mind. And he starts saying this stuff to me in my head. And I'm just like, and I'm like, finally, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right. And this demon possessed special needs girl's staring me down, like dogging me in church, right? I'm just like, I'm like, okay.
You gotta put this in a comic book, I swear.
Bro, finally, I'm just like, it is pretty crazy when you come into what we're doing, what this is. It's like you walked into the Matrix, bro. That's the best way to describe this when you start casting demons out, bro. And finally, I'm just like, I turn and I just look her dead in the eye. I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of you. Come out now in the name of Jesus. And bro, the retarded girl's like, and starts like kicking the chair, falls on the ground. Everybody in the pews are like, what's happening? And she's like, I'm a Christian. And the demon's like, I hate you. And it's like switching between two people while this girl is speaking normally. Okay, mind you, this went from a girl that was like I talk like this, okay, to all of a sudden, I hate you, you're worthless, and like speaking to me, like calling me out, and then switching and then going like, I'm a Christian, I don't have a demon, I'm a Christian, and she's laying on the ground, kicks everybody around. It's like, what is happening? They're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I said, yeah, come out. I said, I'm sick of you. Come off this girl now. And like, bro, the church people come over. They're like, what is happening? What is happening? I'm like, well, there's a demon. He's 3,000 years old. His name is this. And he's been bragging and thinking he's calling himself the faith destroyer and said everybody in the building's too weak to get him out. And look what he's done to this girl. And like, dude, the whole congregation's like, and I'm like, okay. They're like, sir, we don't know who you are. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, bro, but I mean, there's a demon if you can't tell. And they're like, we see that it's a demon because it's like speaking totally demonic. And like, they're just like, we need to take him to the pastor. And they take him up to the front to the pastor to pray. And like the pastor's like, doesn't even like handle it very well or whatever, doesn't even know how to handle it. And then like prays. And then the retarded girl the demon acts like it leaves. And then the girl is at the end is like, oh, I feel so much better, and is like laughing about it and like mocking in front of the entire congregation of the church.
Oh, look at that.
And I can hear it in the spirit staring me from the stage while it's like going, look, I'm healed by the pastor. And I'm like, this freaking demon. And he's looking at me, and I can hear in the spirit going, he's literally saying to me, I told you you wouldn't get me out. I told you. And I can hear him saying this while she's on stage. And I'm just like, I can't even do it. Like, so churches don't like people like me. Churches are afraid of people like me because we call out we evoke the weakness when we're speaking the truth, bro. Like it comes out, dude. I go public places and demons will manifest. Like it's not like it's literally like the Bible, bro. Like it literally says like Jesus went places and the demons manifested. When you're walking in righteousness and you're walking in purity and you're seeking the Lord, the angels follow you. The angels of light and love follow you. And like, bro, you get responses like this. And this is just like normal, dude. It's literally like I feel like I've walked out of the Matrix, bro. It's like crazy because this had never happened anything like this in my life remotely. So, anyways,
you said something. Now I remember what I was going to say, and I was holding it in the back of my brain. I'm a Star Wars super fan, and you said, and I love Darth Vader, and oh my god! And if I have to watch, I don't watch TV at all. I have this thing on here for show. I game a little bit, but I'm mostly on recording, right? But if I ever do turn on the TV, it's to watch something for Star Wars or do some research. I love it. So. And the reason I'm saying that is because you said some people idolize these things. And traumatic experience happened also because of movies. You get normalized to things. They start exposing you. For example, I love zombie movies also. You know, I'm not that I watch them anymore, but when I was coming up, zombie movies were my thing, right? So all of these things that you start adopting is you start building habits and you start vibing at that frequency. And you start allowing that type of lifestyle to take over not only your brain, but your emotions. And then you start having those manifestations that you're talking about. So I'm going to pivot the conversation a little bit because we're running out of time here to movies and Disney. And not that I wanted to make it about Disney because I love the way that you're bringing in the entire show. But you did mention also that you cannot put idols before God. Kind of like how I put Darth Vader as an idol. And I have a giant freaking Darth Vader Mexican alcancía. What's it called? Where you put the quarters in and you
Oh
collect your
yeah, yeah,
quarters.
yeah, yeah,
What's it
yeah.
called?
It's a piggy bank.
A piggy bank, yeah, but like it's a big Mexican one and it's a Vader one, right?
Mhm.
So I had it in back, but it looks like if I'm worshiping Vader. So I was like, no, I'm gonna take it off and I put it away. So in a way, in a way, I'm like, oh, Davis, did he
Mhm.
say that to me about Vader? Like, what the heck, dude? You know? And so yeah, how bring this in, tie it all in.
Okay,
With,
all right. You want to talk about Vader, bro? Like, let's talk about Star Wars real quick, and we can jump into Disney and stuff too. Maybe you can bring me on a second show or something because like
Mm.
it's like there's so much more. But like we'll talk about Star Wars. So I don't know if you know where Star Wars comes from. From Yoda is actually Judah. It's Yoda is Judah, and it's actually represents the Jews in some regard. And it's Judah, but it's also tied to the demonic spirit Mephistopheles, which is actually if you look up Mephistopheles in ancient texts, it looks like Yoda. It's like it is a depiction of this short, big-eared demon. Okay, that's Yoda. So we're all sitting here like, baby Yoda, so great, yeah. But like, people don't understand like Star Wars. So, like the original Star Wars, there's a story in Egypt called Seth, Osiris, and Isis. So Isis is in love with Osiris,
Mm.
or vice versa. I forget. Anyways, they're in love with each other, but Seth is jealous, and Seth is jealous of they're all brothers and sister. By the way, there's two brothers and one sister, and that's why you see the two. That's why you have Luke and Han
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
Leia. Okay, and it's a mirroring of that same story, and so Seth is jealous of the brothers of the other brother. So Osiris, I believe, Osiris gives Isis the Jedi. And it's the Jedi is a pillar of light that stays lit. So that way Seth will never kill him in the dark. This
Huh.
is where you get the Sith from, the Sith
Huh.
and the Jedi, which is Jedi, right? And it's a battle for the princess, basically for Leia, right? In the same sense. And so like
Mm.
this story is it has so much occultic things and throughout the whole movie like and it's like it talks about like the light side and the dark side. This is a homage to duality. This is what the occult believe. Okay, so like there's rich people like right now you're like, oh, I'm not a
Facts.
bad
I hear that. Hmm.
yeah, you're
Hmm.
like, I'm not a bad person because, I do maybe you smoke a little bit of weed, but it's not like that bad. Like I do a lot of other good stuff, right? Okay, well, in duality, it's the same principle applies to these people that are in the high levels of the occult.
Mm.
Okay? And so like they're like, "Oh, well, I've given $1 million to this charity, so it's okay that I take advantage of these few children and maybe murder them or use them for my rituals, or I'm going to use them for this ritual and kill this one child, but then I'll make more money so I'll be able to give to the charity, right? So that's duality. You just don't
Mm.
understand it because on our level we're not like rich millionaires that aren't thinking in this perspective, but that's the same thing. That's what's so bad about duality, and that's why the Lord says like one sin is just as bad as any other sin. Like when you
Mm.
understand that perspective, it's like this is what's happening with that reality. And so like Star Wars, I used to be a big Star Wars fan, bro. Like I used to actually perform on stage with like famous people at like with lightsabers, and I was like I'm a performer at Burning Man, and so I'm like very very good with lightsaber. Like I could like throw it around my back and upside and flip and run up off a wall and stuff. So like I do a bunch of ninja stuff. Anyways, so like I used to be a big part of that, and the Lord like had me cut up my lightsabers. There were like thousands of dollars I've spent like making this stuff because I would perform on stage. Like I was on stage next to Skrillex at Burning Man, doing my lightsaber stuff. Like and so like I've done a lot of stuff, but like the Lord's like he's like this is what this is. You need to expose it, and so people are aware of it. But like that's the force is talked about in the Bible as well. But it's Satan is called the prince of forces. He's the prince of the force. Satan is. And so when you know all the things of the occult and George Lucas was tied into the occult and you realize he was tied into all sorts of things.
Mm.
He was just breeding in little bits of nuggets of the cultic views and the satanic stuff to like breed it into our society, but like just to like make us numb to this understanding. I mean, like
Yeah.
all of this is the Darth. names. Like the Darth Vader, Vader was actually a Jewish holiday. People don't know that. Vidar was the Jewish holiday of the calendar that they removed. And the text
Wow.
on his chest plate, the original Darth Vader, the text is actually got Hebrew writing on it. And you don't, but people don't pay attention to these things, you know? And so it's all about like, you know, manipulation, perversion of who the father is, right? Perversion of who the father really is, making the
Hmm.
father the bad guy, right? And so it's like, but we
Huh.
we we get numb to these sort of stuff because we get enticed by stories and we're like drawn to a story. But that's what witchcraft is a lot of times. It's stories and it evokes emotions, and you know, and so those emotions and stuff is what
To hy-
drives us.
to hypnotize you.
Yeah, to hypnotize you, bro. And like that's
S-
literally that's what's happening. And like and every cartoon you've ever watched, every movie you've ever watched, like there's this show I'll tell you right now that I was watching. We tried to watch a show with my friend. She was like, "Dude, all we do is cast out demons. Like, let's try to be a normal person for once and like watch this movie." She's like, "I just wanted to watch a movie." I'm like, "Sure, let's try it." So we tried to watch this movie that was like called Aaron Brockovich. Okay, have you heard of it? Do you know the show?
No,
It's
not
like
not
okay,
sure. Mhm.
it's a movie back in the day where she like basically at the end she's a lawyer who sues this company and makes millions of dollars at the very end, but the whole time at the beginning it's all distortion and perversion. And this is what's wrong with Disney the same way. It's all just like she's a struggling, lives at home, single mom, flirting with the neighbor guy, sleeping with the neighbor guy, maybe something weird going on there, like all these things that we look at and we go, oh, that's just life. Bro, that's a spell. I mean, her name is Erin Brockovich. Brockovich means witch of the brook. First off, okay. So, so that's the name of the movie, and like you,
Like
it's like
Abramovic, huh?
yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
Abramovich. Like
Mm-hmm.
Abramovich means Abrahamic witch. Okay,
The
Abramovich. Okay, and she's the
the artistic model design lady, huh?
oh
Freaking
yeah,
funny, dude. Look at that.
bro. It's totally demonic. It means Abrahamic witch because Judaism, the highest order of the occult and witchcraft is Judaism, by the way, but people are unaware of that a lot of times. But so the that little
First time
star
I heard that
thing.
one.
Oh yeah, the
Oh
little star
man.
thing that people that they have on that little flag, that's
Hmm.
the conjuring star for conjuring Satan. That's not the flag. That ain't no Star of David, bro.
I've been at so my wife's upbringing was apostolic, and there was a situation where they were trying to indoctrinate me. They couldn't. X reason. That's not the point. The point is, I would go and there was this church. We would walk into the church and they had the that flag next
Wow.
to, they had those flags, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What is that? The Old Testament? Wait, and then isn't that connected to David? Wait, that's not even like real." And I started questioning things, and I was like, "Guys,
It's
wait,
called the
what?"
Star of Remphan in the Bible. It's not connected to David at all.
And just because you're being careful, and I really want this show to be on YouTube, I was about to say the J instead of the Y.
Yeah.
um because I really wanted to stay on YouTube, I'm going to respect that, and I'm gonna follow your lead on it. But like, no, bro, why are you guys Christian or are you guys Jewish? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. I don't know, but yeah, the confusion, amongst people, and specifically in organized churches, is huge, bro.
Well,
It's
it's a
big.
distortion. They want to distort. The occult wants to distort people's biblical perspective of truth so they can take advantage of it. And they've already done it. They've done an excellent job at doing that so far. But like people are waking up to it right now. Like the Lord's waking a bunch of people up right now, like never before. And it's like fantastic. It's like amazing. Like so many people are waking up to the fact that demons are real, casting out demons, rejecting Disney. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's like, dude, they just
Yes.
dropped a Disney movie today and it like flopped so terrible. That Snow White movie, it's like done so terrible. Disney has done so terrible at all their stuff because people aren't buying into their occultic brainwashing. Like I like to
Word.
think I've hopefully contributed to that at least 1%, maybe. You know, I've been making videos and other people are making videos warning like, hey, dude, this is occultic. Like people don't see, but like you don't understand like the occultic stuff. Like I was saying, like that movie, like when you watch a movie and there's like a divorced mom living on her own, you don't understand that that's a spell. Like what you're really watching. Like, why do all the superheroes, they all don't have parents? They're all orphans. Why are they all like that? Because that is a spell being put out to you. You're like in your head, you see that woman with raising her baby on her own, and you're like, well, see, look, Aaron Brockovich is able to raise a kid, and then she made $1 million in the end, so you can do it on your own. I don't need a man in my life, like whatever, like she did it. Like, bro, you are receiving the spell by watching that movie and coming to an agreement with it. And you don't even recognize it. Like when you see the wickedness in the movie, you think that that's not affecting you. It is with you. It is in you. That thought has it's seeded into your mind now. So like you see this, and it's like, bro, I was sitting there watching this with her, and then I was, and it was so depressing. The movie is so depressing, and like I'm like, dude, I can't. I'm like, dude, hey, like I can't watch this. Like I cannot watch this movie. Like I don't watch movies anymore. Like, and I'm fine with it. It doesn't even make me sad because like if I watch it for research to point out the occultic stuff. But like I don't watch movies. So like, and like I'm like, dude, I can't watch this. She's like, why? And I'm like, do you not recognize how depressing this movie is? And she's like, no. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, what do you mean you don't see how depressing it is? She's like a single mom, like suffering, barely able to make ends meet, and she's like struggling. She's like like trying to flirt with like, bro, I'm like saying all this stuff, and she's like, well, yeah, but it gets good at the end. She's gonna become. She like does a case, and I'm like, yeah, she's suing somebody. That's like not a good way to make money. Like that's terrible. And I'm like, this is wicked, all like through and through.
It's setting the new norm. It says the new norm
Yes.
for people. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, do you not recognize it? And she's like, well, no, it's like nostalgic. Like I watched this when I was a kid with my family. And I was like, spirit of nostalgia, come out right now. And dude, immediately she starts throwing up. Like, bro, she's just like, like, sorry, and I like grab a cup, and she's just like throwing up in the cup. And I'm like, spirit of depression, come out now. Like she starts throwing up, and she doesn't even, bro, she doesn't even realize that
The
there
way you
is a
deliver
demonic
that was-
spirit, bro.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming.
Bro, it's what it is. Like people, but that's the thing. People don't realize like demons affect your emotions. They affect your spirit. They affect your feelings. They affect like, bro, when you're smoking cigarettes, bro, what do you think you're doing? You're burning an offering unto something. You just don't know what it is. Like, dude, this is what like alcohol, it's Aramaic. It means body eating spirit. When you drink alcohol, it's opening you up to something else. You just don't know what you're doing. Like, but people aren't aware of this. That's why it translates into spirits. That's why it says at the bars, it says spirits. Okay, that's the English translation.
Facts.
Bro, that's the English translation, but people aren't aware of these things. And it's like we let this stuff like kind of slide by, bro. This is how demons take advantage of our culture. It's how they take advantage of our people. It's how they get control of it. That's why everybody's stupid, bro. That's why everybody's so dumb, and they are not waking up and recognizing the reality around us. And it's not people's faults. They're literally demonically influenced. And it's through the media, it's through TV, it's through the alcohol, it's through our culture, it's through the songs, it's through the music. Bro, bro, they talk like people that talk about it, they get offed. Okay, Prince started talking about it. Guess what happened to him? Oh, he's gone. Michael Jackson was gonna start talking about it. Guess what happened to him? Oh, gone. Tupac started talking about it. Guess what happened to him? Gone. Like, bro, the people that start talking about this stuff and waking up to the reality of like, yo, hey, this is witchcraft. They don't realize that these songs are spells. And when you sing them, that feeling you get, like, bro, I used to listen to Linkin Park a little bit. And like that feeling you get when you listen to Linkin Park, you're like, yeah, crawling in my skin. You're like yelling it, right, bro? You are chanting and evoking a demon, bro. And you don't even recognize it in that moment. And that spirit is like when you sing it and you're coming into that agreement, you feel it. That feeling is the demon joining you. That's what that is. Anyways, a lot there.
Hey, you know what? I've said this on the ending parts of this podcast. I've said this countless times. First, I've said they bombard every single part of your body, mind, soul, emotion, habits, and I'm saying this again. All your senses, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, what you smell, everything gets bombarded, bro. They hack your DNA with every single piece of science that you consume, every single piece of food, every single piece of water, all the trending things. This is why your freaking mental capacity and attention span is only 10 seconds and you have to scroll. You can't live without your phone. You've chipped yourself, you chipped your kids, and you have Stockholm syndrome. And you have this issue where you can't take 5 freaking seconds to go search on a search bar, go find Paranoid Radio Podcast or anybody else is bringing you the truth. It's hard to go against this grain. And one thing I have to give these mother freaking demons is that they're resilient in what they do, and you love it. Not you, but like everybody else that's enjoying it, like that enjoys that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I like this. I have this saying what I do when I'm at work, and I say when customers come at me and they're talking to me and have you seen that? Have you seen that? I'm like, you know what, bro? Dude, I don't watch TV. It's against my religion. They're like, what religion is that? I'm like, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and they start laughing. But it's because, yeah, I can't even
True.
tell them, it's kind of like you have to disattach with that from that nostalgic. Darth Vader, for me, right? Darth Vader, Linkin Park. I'm more of a rock head than a hip hop head, and I just found that out now that I'm older. I enjoy the '80s rock, and then when I'm listening to it, I'm like, dude, this is a rock band called Wasp that I really like back then in the day that I just learned about it, and they had this song called "Heavens Hung in Black," and I used to sing that song from the top. It's really an underrated song. Sing it from my heart. And then I'm like, when you were saying about the Linkin Park crawling in my skin and all that stuff and that emotion, you're like, dude, the chills I used to feel. I used to be a raver. How do you think I got my freaking nickname? Trebles. I partied EDC from '08 all the way to 17. And on 2017, my last rave, bro, when I walked in that place, I did it sober and I seen that stuff.
You saw
I
it.
seen it. Dude, I was like, what? The hieroglyphs,
Mhm.
the light, the impact, and the freaking smoke, the lasers, the drugs, the rubbing of the skin, the rushing of the freaking adrenaline, the bumping. Everybody's at the same time, and then you feel it on your skin when it crawls, and you're like, what the freak am I seeing? This is not what I thought it was. Yeah, and then
Mhm.
the sex, and you're walking out, people having sex with each other, and it's just, and then the exposing of the homosexuals and shit. Look, dude, I caught myself slipping there, bro. I understand everything you said, and it hits home, bro. Woo. Yeah, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's the truth, man. That's the truth. Demons are
Yo,
real, and they're in our society, and people are very blind and ignorant to it. And hopefully, I hope to wake people up with my channel. I just hope to wake people up.
where can people find you? Perfect.
Yeah, Demon Erasers, bro. Demon Erasers, right there on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and even X.
What a passionate episode, bro. Bryan, you are a machine. I was going to call you a monster, but you're not a monster.
No.
You're a machine. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Mad love and respect. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check him out. Bryan from Demon Races on all platforms, guys. And I really hope, and dude, again, I'm going to say this a third time, and hopefully it's a charm. And I'm not trying to cast a spell here, but dude, think about it. A comic book of your testimonies, bro. The puking factor of it, bro. Oh, that'll be great. I'm telling you, dude. Puke all over the place. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check them out. And do not forget to check us out and drop a 5-star review for podcast. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace out.
Bye.
Thank you, bro.